friends! Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bella and this is Imperfect Hippies. Just a quick reminder, if you aren't already following me over on Instagram, my links for Instagram and Etsy are all going to be in the description box below. And make sure to subscribe to follow along for future market vlogs, market prep vlogs, and other market recaps like this video. Spoiler, we are going to be going over my last market, and yeah, I'm just wanting to share with you how it went, what sold, and of course, how much I made. So let's get into it. So just a quick event recap. If you didn't watch my last market vlog, definitely check that out because I kind of go over the market details and I'm prepping for this market. So you'll kind of see a little of the behind the scenes of this market. But this market was July 5th, the day after the 4th of July, obviously. And it was from 5 to 9 p.m., so about 4 hours. And the booth fee for this event is $25. And I've been doing these events since May. I think May was the first one of this year. And this is my second year doing markets with these coordinators as well. This event is actually at a local dispensary, which I know seems kind of funny, but this dispensary does amazing things for the community. And this is one of them where they kind of put on like a block party community event, and yeah, they're always looking for local vendors, especially artists, but really any local vendors, food vendors, anything like that. They're just all about supporting and building up the community, which I just love being a part of. So because this event was the day after the 4th, I do think not too many people were either in town or were just tired from the day before. And it also was extremely hot. I live in Oregon here, so the summers can get hot, but we're not used to it, okay? It's nowhere near, obviously, like California, Arizona weather, and thankfully we don't have terrible humidity here, so I really have no complaints. It's just I'm a little bitch in any extreme cold, extreme heat. I don't do that well. I was just like mentally preparing for the heat, and long story short, I survived, obviously. No, actually it was much more doable than I was anticipating. I came very prepared, so I'll go into that a little later of just how to prepare for extreme weather at a market. And unfortunately, that was this market. I think it was about 100 degrees. The sun and heat peaks right in the afternoon here too, like between like 4 and 6 p.m. Of course, right when my market and setup is happening. So yeah, setup was a little rough just with how hot it was. By the end, my husband and I were definitely like dripping sweat. That wasn't fun, but we got through it. And then I think because of the heat, that did limit the amount of people coming out. They probably just wanted to stay in a nice AC room and not really step out into the oven. So yeah, I think that kind of hurt foot traffic, but again, we still had a great time. Now, what sold? So I'm gonna go into some of my best sellers. I roughly had like 4 best sellers, and that's just because in that category, those sold the most out of others, you know what I mean? First up, the thing that sold the most were gonna be my $5 items. So if you're new here, I have this bin at my markets that basically just says clearance, only $5. And then these plushies are a little too imperfect, but still deserve some love. I just kind of like having that out. It makes it very affordable for those who want to purchase something, but you know, can't really afford too much. $5 is super easy. It's great for kids. It's kind of this like bin that they can dig through and pick out which one they want. So I think it's very approachable for kids and such. And then, like it said, it's just filled with a bunch of imperfect plushies, either from back when I first started crocheting, weren't really the best work, things that I didn't really like the color of, or if I'm being honest, about a year ago, I taught my husband how to crochet and he was really into it for a while, and and 90% of what's in the $5 bin were his makes, just because, you know, he didn't really want to keep them. He did a fine job. Like, he did a great job for first learning. They weren't the best quality, so I didn't feel comfortable putting them out with the rest of my normal inventory, especially because some of the colors he chose didn't really match the aesthetic of the booth. And so I thought they were just the perfect things to throw in there, and people were going crazy for them. So anyways, that's kind of my little $5 bin. Moving forward though, I might not have a $5 bin for a couple reasons. One, that inventory is running low. I think I only have like 6 items left in that $5 bin, and I think it started with like 30. So yeah, it kind of seems silly to just have like a small handful of things in this bin. And two, I did kind of notice some people originally saw something on the table that they were going to buy and then saw the $5 bin and changed their mind and went with the $5 bin, which I'm grateful that they purchased something regardless, and I'm happy to provide something that was a little more affordable for them. But I also recognize that it kind of missed out on a $10, $15 item sale for a $5 item, you know what I mean? So for those 2 reasons, moving forward, I might not have a $5 bin. And I have been wanting to incorporate like mystery bags. I've seen other crocheters do that where they'll have like a little mystery box or a mystery bags. But anyways, enough of the $5 items. I went way too long on that. 7 sold on this market. Next up for bestsellers are gonna be my Leggy Froggies, actually, which my Leggy Froggies haven't been doing too well at all, actually. Like past markets, maybe only 1, 2 will sell, not too many really. This market, 5 sold. So I think I brought 10 total and 5 of those sold. Definitely most of just the green color, not really the other. I think I had like a yellow and an orange and a blue or something. So none of those sold, but all of the green ones, people definitely liked the greens. What's so funny about it too is I was just thinking of stopping making these and kind of switching up the frogs I bring, just because these weren't doing too well, but you never know. So yeah, definitely gonna make at least a small handful of these for the next market. Next up are gonna be, so a little backstory. I used to only sew. I used to only bring handmade sewn creations to my markets, and then I learned that I actually kind of hate sewing and I love crochet so much more, so I kind of switched into only crochet. But there's still a small handful of things back when I used to sew inventory wise. So one of those are scrunchies, actually. So I'll still, sometimes if I have room on my table, I'll bring kind of my sewn creations out. And so I'm glad I did, because some of them actually sold. About 3 scrunchies sold, and I sell them for $5 each. I think once all of my sewn scrunchies are sold, I'm gonna switch up and start making crochet scrunchies. So I'm very excited about that. Next up for bestsellers are gonna be, shocker, keychains. Keychains always do super well. So if you haven't brought keychains to your market, definitely try it out. They're usually pretty small, pretty affordable for people. And I think people like the idea that, you know, they can have a plushie, but like it's clipped onto something and they can bring it everywhere rather than just something sitting at home, you know? So specifically 5 keychains of mine sold. 3 of them were these Mushie Pop ones. I think 1 red, 1 purple, and 1 blue. Next up for keychains, 1 bee keychain sold, and then 1 of these flower frogs sold as well. And I sell my keychains for $10 each. And I don't think I mentioned it already, but all of the patterns I'm mentioning will be listed in the description box below. So if you feel inspired and want to try and make any of these for your next market, or even just for yourself or a friend, you can find them there. Alrighty, so next up for just what sold, I'm just gonna go through my list here. Next, I sold 1 regular bee for $15. I was actually super happy about this sale because it's been a while since I've sold just a nice classic bee. For some reason, my bees don't sell. I know other people have said bees do really well for them. It's super rare for someone to buy a bee, so I don't know why, but one of these cuties sold for $15. Another one of my sewing creations, I have these zipper pouches. They're folded down right now, but they kind of box up like this. I usually try and do like a really pretty accent color or something on the inside, so I think these are really nice. I actually use one of mine zipper pouches for all my crochet hooks, or kind of like my travel bag of crochet on the go. So I really love these. I think they're very well made, and I only sell them for $10. This girl came up and said she needed a new bag for her dice, so it's perfect. She found one with mushrooms on it and made a purchase, 10 bucks. Okay, next up is gonna be the sunflower cat that sold. So obviously I only made one and I don't have that with me to show you, but I will put a picture up here for you. And I was so happy that that sold. That was for $35, so one of the most expensive items that sold. And she was just so beautiful, so I was really happy that someone chose the sunflower cat. Next up, I brought 5 of the little chubby dinos, and only one sold. And I had an assortment of colors, I think kind of like rainbow-esque, pink, yellow, green, blue, and purple, and only the purple one sold. I already started market prep for my next market coming up, so I already made the next one. This is the one for my next market, so it's not quite done. I still need to glue in the eyes and add the blush, but this is just what the purple dino looks like, and the only one that sold. I kind of was shocked that only one, and specifically the purple one, sold. And I saw these for $20. Next up that sold was also the bee cat. That was another very exciting purchase for $35. And again, already started some market prep. So this is one I made recently for my next market, and I just need to finish adding the wings. But just so you have a visual, this is the bee cat, and they are so cute. I love the antennas on them, and just honestly the whole detail. They're adorable. So anyways, I was super happy that this guy sold. And then next up, I only had 2 Stegos left from previous markets, and both of those sold. And I've held on to those for quite a while, so I was very happy that not just one sold, but both of them sold. And I'll put pictures up here for you to check those out, but I guess I'm gonna have to make some more Stegos. Usually people like the T-Rex over the Stegos, but I think the Stegos are also like so cute. So I guess I'm happy for the opportunity to make more. And then lastly, what sold was just a classic black speckled chicken. Oh, and I sold my chickens for $15, and then the Stegos sold for $20. So yeah, that's gonna be about everything that sold at this market. I was very pleased with the amount that did sell, and many purchases made me very happy. Moving on now to what didn't sell. Some things I kind of predicted because they usually never sell for me. Other things, huge shockers. Very surprised by, so you'll see. Some items that didn't sell are gonna be turtles. I bring Tofu the Turtle and these cheeky booty turtles, and I try and sell both of these for $15. I rarely get bites. I'm actually shocked that others have said that these do so well for them, and people barely even glance at them. So I don't know if it's just I have so many options on my booth that they don't even really notice these, but I don't know. I think they're really cute. I have been thinking about putting the tofu turtles in the mystery bags as well, and then hopefully people will be excited to purchase a mystery turtle and enjoy that purchase. But yeah, I don't know why my turtles don't do too well. And then also I bring some larger sea turtles, and none of those sold at this market as well. Next up are gonna be chicks and ducks, and again, neither of these sold. These are another one item that people just haven't been gravitating towards. They'll sometimes get like cute comments like, oh my gosh, those mallards, or look at how chubby they are. But then no one wants to buy them, and that's okay. But again, I have been kind of thinking about popping these in the mystery bags as well, and then maybe people will be happy to purchase them, but we'll see. These I try and sell for 15 as well. Next up are going to be my flower friends that I bring. I'm actually so sad that no one has ever purchased these. I thought they were gonna do so well, especially for spring and summer, but nobody's interested. So I bring a classic flower one and then the sunflower ones, and I think they're just so adorable, but no takers. So I sell these for $18. Hopefully one day someone will fall in love with them, but for now, I bring them every time. Okay, next up, none of my snails sold either. These are also something that sometimes people go really crazy for, other times they just kind of get missed, but I sell my snails for $15. Okay, these next two blew my mind that they didn't sell. These are usually the best sellers, and not only were they not the best sellers, none were purchased. Okay, up first, Mushy Boys. Like what? Nobody purchased them whatsoever. I do think part of that reason might be the way my booth was laid out, and specifically the direction people were walking into. I'll get into that more a little later, but I do think that might have caused the lack of sales for these, but yeah, none of them sold. Not the red classic nor any of the colored ones. So, but I sell my Mushy Boys for $15 each. And then if you didn't watch the last market vlog / recap, definitely go check that out, because spoiler, in there I say I brought 5 Loaf Cats and they completely sold out. I was blown away. So here I was thinking, going into this next market, okay, I gotta prep a bunch of Loaf Cats. I made 6 for this next one, plus 3 of the Flower and Friends ones, so I guess 9 total. The Flower and Friends ones did sell, but the 6 I made of just the classic Loaf Cats, none sold, none. So I made 6 of these kind of cuties, all different color variants, and none sold. I was shocked. Like, look at how cute this is. If I saw this, I would have to purchase this. I'm just, but I sell my Loaf Cats, the classic ones, for $25. So that went over everything that didn't sell. Again, some things I kind of predicted, others I was absolutely shocked about. Moving on, I'm gonna go over my booth display. So usually I do like to have a lot more footage from my market days, but being honest with you, just with how hot this market was, I was not up for filming. I literally only got a before of just the initial setup of my booth, and that was it. And so I'm so sorry I don't have a before and after. I'll play the one clip of footage I do have for you of my booth setup now. welcome back. So yeah, as you can see, if you watched the last market vlog, you'll see this setup was very similar to the last one in the sense of I went with the Z formation again, but this time it was kind of mirrored, if that makes sense. I did move some things around just to try and highlight certain things, and the last market I did was in June, so I kind of had like a pride setup right up front, and this one was just a little different. Obviously not highlighting any of the pride merch. It was kind of more mixed in with like the average merch. What I mentioned earlier, so the direction that people were walking in, I feel like they were walking in from the side more rather than the front. So they would walk in, kind of see the first half of the side, and then move on and not fully walk around to like the front where like the Loaf Cats were or the Mushie Boys were. And so I feel like that whole side really got missed because of that. But I also was really struggling with my display setup because I couldn't have it mirrored on the other side, because then just the way that the people were walking, it just wouldn't have made sense. So sometimes it is what it is, just with the flow of foot traffic, that sometimes your market setup doesn't work with that, and that's okay. It's all a learning experience. But yeah, regardless, I still was really proud of my booth display and setup. I got to use some new display things that I mentioned in my market prep video. I got to have both keychain stands out, so that was exciting, kind of having like a full thing of keychains. Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm already planning ideas for this next market because, like I mentioned, I think I'm gonna take away the $5 item and try and have some mystery bags out. So I need to come up with like a game plan for where those are gonna fit. I'm excited. I love being creative with market setups. So okay, now what we've all been waiting for, market results. A total of 26 items sold at this market, which I feel is pretty good. I've definitely done better, but I'm grateful for that number. Now, the money. So, absolute total I made was $300 even. I don't know how it ended to exactly 300, but I think that's great. Now, minus the $25 booth fee, that leaves me with a profit of $275 for this event. Now, I've definitely done better at this market before, but again, I've also definitely had worse market days here. So I'm very happy with this number, especially just for how hot it was and how uncomfortable I was in the heat. I get why people weren't coming out. So 275's good enough for me. I also received a custom order at this market, and so that was very exciting. A good friend of ours came over to support us, and he basically was asking if I can make a custom of his dog, and so I'm very excited to get the opportunity to do that. Bring his dog alive in plushie form. And then also, I guess his sister just had a baby, so he was asking for a baby safe snuggler as well. So I'm gonna make a little cow snuggler for that. And then he saw that I sew bucket hats and also asked for a bucket hat in cow print to match the cow snuggler for his sister's baby. So I'm super excited to get started on those projects, and I'll keep you posted on how that goes. But yeah, I love getting to offer customs and getting to be a little more creative with those customs I receive. So another great opportunity happened at this market, and so one of the vendors there was, I believe it was just this like mycology organization. I'm not even really sure, to be honest, but there were some mushroom folk there, and I love mushrooms. I love chatting mushrooms, so that was super cool to get to chat with them. But they were also looking for other vendors for a huge event they're putting on in September, and so I got the details for that, applied, and spoiler, I got accepted. So, woo! I'm super excited for this event. A pretty local town too, so I don't have to drive too far, which I'm stoked about. But yeah, it's just gonna be this like mushroom festival. So I'm very excited about that. I'm gonna try and make a bunch of, obviously, like the mushy boys and mushroom stock, but also just like mushroom themed plushies, like with like a mushroom hat on, or like overalls with a mushroom, just like cute stuff like that. So I'm very excited for that opportunity. Alrighty friends, lastly, I just wanted to share some lessons I learned from this event. So the biggest one is gonna be surviving the heat. Girl, I'ma tell ya, I don't do well in the extreme weathers. I know I said this before, so I was feeling very anxious. I was feeling very stressed about just how I was gonna cope sitting outside for 5 hours in 100-degree weather. So I just wanted to share some tips that helped me and that I will definitely be using in the future. Number 1, I wore my sun shirt, so it's like UV protected. It was uncomfortable wearing a long sleeve, I'll be honest, but knowing that my skin was protected was huge, and I didn't really fear getting burned, so that was very helpful. Having my hair up and completely out, I did like braids and wrapped them around, so I was kind of having like a braid crown moment. I looked adorable, but I also just got my hair off me completely. I didn't even want it in a ponytail. I just wanted it like no hair. So and then obviously lots and lots of sunscreen. Sunscreen's always your friend, but especially being out like that. And then yeah, my sunglasses and hat, just all of those sun protection things. Also, I invested in, so I got this fan mister off Amazon. So you basically can, it's like a spray bottle, and so I put water in it, and then you can turn the fan on and then mist yourself with cool air blowing. So that was wonderful. I bought one for both my husband and I, and that saved our butts. And then also at the market, someone was selling those, they're like the cool neck towels, and there's like something in there that like absorbs the moisture and keeps them cool. I don't even know, it's magic, but basically we supported another vendor and bought 2 of those, and that was a game changer as well. Those seriously helped keep us cool. And then lastly, of course, lots and lots of water. I brought so much water, drank all of it, so I'm glad I brought extra, but yeah, just lots and lots of ice water. You sweat so much being out there. Just keeping yourself hydrated. Another lesson I learned was kind of what I mentioned, just the direction that people walk can really affect your sales and the way people interact with your booth. And just a reminder that yes, we're doing the best we can to make our booths the most engaging and accessible, and that people are drawn to and, you know, want to come in, but it's also the flow of traffic affects that as well. And sometimes there are some things that are just out of your hand, out of your control, and as a perfectionist myself, sometimes I can really struggle with that concept. So that was just a reminder to just like let that go, and that's okay. And I'm showing up knowing I'm doing the best I can. So if you needed that reminder as well, you're doing the best you can. And then also with that, as I mentioned, I was feeling very stressed about going into this market just with the heat. And ultimately, I just had to get my butt in gear and remind myself that, listen, girl, yes, we're here to make money as this is my business, but ultimately I'm there to have a good time. I'm there to enjoy myself, hang out with my husband, hang out with vendor friends, and just be proud of the display I put on. I really had to check my attitude and remind myself that what I go into a market is what I'm gonna get out of it. So if I'm going there feeling cranky, feeling pissed off that it was hot, you know, like nobody's gonna want to interact with me. I don't even want to interact with me when I'm feeling that way. So definitely just had to have that harsh reminder that, hey, I'm here to have a good time. and let's show up that way. Obviously, easier said than done, and there are some days where you're just not feeling it or just way burnt out, and that's okay. Take care of yourself first. But also, I very much recognize that the more I'm engaging with my booth and my customers, the better my sales do. And ultimately, the better experience I have at a market because I'm having fun. So those were just some of the lessons I learned that I wanted to pass on and share with you. Ultimately, I did still have a really enjoyable market day. I always do. I mean, there's only been a small handful of markets that I was like, that sucked. Thankfully, this was not one of them. So with that, my friends, thank you so much for coming along with me as I shared this market recap with you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something or found this inspiring for your next market or your small business as well. But yeah, with that, definitely subscribe so we can continue this journey together. Next up is going to be another market prep vlog and getting ready for my next market in August. And then honestly, guys, I'm gonna start market prepping for that big mushroom festival. So that'll be like one of the biggest events I've ever done. So I'm very stoked about that. With that, I will see you friends in my next video. So peace out.